Hello and welcome to Shifting Lanes Garage. My name is Chad. With me, as always, is the Volvo Gregson. Welcome to today's show. Words easy. I should probably be able to speak better, but whatever. Such is life.
Nice English words, Dr. Shakaloo.
Ding bow. Welcome everyone. We have some pretty interesting stuff we're going to talk about tonight. We have a double whammy of big news and then enormous news that we'll be sharing with y'all at some point during tonight's show.
But Chad has won the lottery and is
God.
buying me 8 different McLaren F1s. Thank you so much. You're a great friend.
Hold on a second. 8 times about...
Don't do the math. Just let it happen. Math is bad. It's 80% of my last name. I know. It's not good.
Yeah, I'm going to need to win the lottery a couple times to make that dream a reality for you, Cheech.
Hey, Mega Millions is at 754 million. You could make it happen.
You'll get one McLaren F1 and you'll like it.
Man. All right, if I have to.
There are kids in Africa who can't even see an F1.
There are starving kids in Africa that only get Audi R8s.
They have to make do with Pontiac Fieros.
Pontiac Fieros. Honestly, I'd take that just because it'd be so good for content.
Weirdly enough, a mid-engine car that looks like a sports car that was designed for fuel efficiency.
Yeah. Turning my Pontiac Fiero into the McLaren F1 nobody saw coming. Clickbait.
I'm not giving you any car if I hit Mega Millions. I thought I had some out there ideas. But welcome. How you doing, buddy?
I'm wonderful. I am drinking the most disgusting looking drink you possibly have ever seen. Yes, that is, well, it's beer. Let's be honest. It's in a solo cup. But this is called Ecto Cooler, and it literally looks like High C Ecto Cooler from back in the day. It's sour, and it's actually delicious, but it looks like absolute just swamp nuts. It looks horrible.
Yeah, it does look horrid. It looks
I will tell you, it is extremely delicious. Like, this is probably one of the best sours I've ever had in my life. Other than that, I'm very good.
I like how when you like discuss beer and stuff with me that you're like, yeah, it's this it's a sour made and they brew it in the tears of Nordic baby seals, and I'm like, fantastic. I have not, nor will I ever be, a beer guy.
The tears are what makes it delicious. Yeah.
Keeps it cold in even the hottest of days.
That's right. It's just like in Waterboy. That glacier water.
Yeah.
The baby seal tears keeps it cold at all times. Asterisk. This podcast does not endorse the tears of baby seals. Do not do that.
We only get our baby seal tears ethically farmed.
Ethically sourced baby seal tears. We just make them watch a really sad movie, and that's the way you ethically source those baby seal tears.
On a hill.
What's that ultimate guy cry movie? Is like Brian's song.
Oh,
yeah. We just make the seals watch Brian's song.
I was just gonna say, make them watch the end of Old Yeller on loop.
Yeah, an animal movie's probably best, or Free Willy. Like, they freed the whale. You just get it. Other than that, good car stuff. Good. I'm gonna start putting my winters on next week, so hopefully that'll go better than it did last time. If not, we'll figure it out. But I'm excited to have winters on for the first time in 2 years.
Are you?
I am, actually. The ride quality gets a little bit better. 19s with a bit more sidewall than 20s with almost none. So my back could use a little ride quality break. Plus, I really like the way my winter wheels look, quite honestly. It actually stances better because these have like that sort of convex kind of shape to them. The winters are more flat and they're pushed out a bit more, so they line up with a fender a lot better. So the stance on them is just better than the OEM wheels. So I'm excited for that. Plus, I want to do some work on these wheels over the winter. I want to clean them up. I want to polish them a bit. And one of the hub caps, one of the center caps is smashed. So I have replacements. So I want to replace that. I also want to Dremel out the inner barrel of them a little bit to make them fit a bit better. So I do want to do a bit of work on them to make them a little bit, nicer. And the little Polestar squares that I haven't been on in 2.5, 3 years because I got them powder coated. I'm like, I should probably put these back on. So I got some automotive cement that I know. I do, because it does look nicer with them on, I'll be honest. So I do want to do that. So I am excited for multiple reasons to get my winters back on.
You and I get excited for some completely different reasons.
Very much, yes.
Like, I get to fiddle around with gluing logos to my wheels. Meanwhile, it's like,
Meanwhile, Chad, what kind of bore and stroke can I put on my replacement engine?
It's like, how big can I make my new engine?
Exactly.
We have Sean and Andrew over there on Facebook chat.
Gents, what is up?
You know you're over 40 when.
Yeah. I'm just excited to Dremel things.
I mean, for me, it's like, it's definitely not, what occupies up here. It's definitely let me just get up and then sit down. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
But Sean mentioned it in there. Next week, everyone mark your calendars. Next week, we will have three things of note. Number one, our first ever international guests on the show.
That's true.
Number two,
big.
Our first ever girls on the show.
I feel like that announcement should come. Do you remember the scene from Euro Trip when they go to the nude beach and it's just nothing but dudes and they're just like chica. Like, I feel like that's the scene.
I just feel like the title for next week's show, Shifting Lanes Garage Podcast, now featuring women.
Out of context, probably we would get so much hate mail. They would look at that and be like, there's something weird going on there.
We have made the diversity hire.
Oh my god. That would be hilarious though.
The fact that we are overwhelmingly have a male audience, notwithstanding, the really exciting thing is that one of the guests is just big in the automotive motorsports sphere in Australia. I forgot to mention they're Australian.
Yeah, literally Australian.
Couldn't be more Australian. Just wait until you see what one of the things one of these girls has as one of their cars. The only way that this thing could be more Australian is if it just binge drink Fosters. And then the other is actually involved in the inner circle of Australian motorsports. She's a director of operations for one of the series over there. Her resume is more impressive than literally Greg's, mine's, all of yours combined.
That is accurate. She sent over the brief of hers, and we're like, this is really impressive. Like, this is the most impressive guest ever. And then they were like, oh, let's send over the elongated one. We're like, elongated? Yeah. I thought this was the elongated one. Holy shit!
You've accomplished more than I ever dared to dream.
Correct. It's wild.
Andrew asks, do they have V8 racing? They have a lot of it. Most of what they do is V8 racing.
Yes.
But that should be absolutely huge. They're doing a really good job of promoting it on their channels. And there's some pretty killer, what's the word I'm looking for here? Engagement engagement, pretty killer. Just interest from this one group in particular. So the Aussies look like are going to show up. So I'm going to need us to. I need us to show up and show out next week. But it should be very, very interesting. And then I guess our second bit of shifting lanes related news, which is big because I've been working on it. And I know when you look at it, you're going to say, that took 4 weeks. But I've been working with guest of the show, Tony from True Game Data, on rebuilding the Shifting Lanes website into something that's less of a blog and more fitting with what it is we do now. So,
which is far overdue by many years. So, huge applause to Chad, by the way, for taking on this effort, and for Tony for helping us out. So,
yes,
you guys both are absolute legends.
I cannot take full, but what I love about this, and obviously I'm on the desktop, so but you have this. We also have it on mobile, optimized for mobile. But one of the things I am most proud about this website is if you go to the reviews section where it says, obviously, shifting lanes, as it would. Greg, pick a car at random that you know we've reviewed.
Ooh, let's see. Toyota Corolla.
Type in Toyota Corolla and blammo! It takes us right to our section with all of our Toyota Corolla related content.
Now do it with Volvo XC90.
And what do you know? We have a review. We have Greg's full tour. We have this. And if we... I can't remember. But this is also tied into the garage channel. So if we were to say go Volvo C30, we have all of the shifting lanes. I obviously did a ton of content for this car there, but
it's pretty
if you scroll down, it'll eventually get to shifting lanes garage content, which I think is pretty awesome. Yeah. I think that causes it just, no matter what we do, even if we did have content for that, Andrew, it would just be 404 file not found.
Yeah.
But
we should do it as 404, but also check out our other cool reviews, and then there's just a list of other things.
Yeah, if certain search queries just bring up a site that's like, why? And then you should be looking at this.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, I'm super, like I said, I am super excited for this. Number one is sort of like a digital business card, but like if you click on the shifting lanes link or here, it takes you to the individual YouTube pages. Merch, this way I don't have to sit here and say, to go to our merch, click this link, and it's the Streamlabs link because that's what we use for merch. Now I can just go shiftinglanes.com, go to the merch section, and bingo bango, Bob's your uncle. And blam, our entire, which I've streamlined, so people like Steve might be mad that his custom shirt that we did for him are not here. But I made sure to keep up the Greg Love Machine shirt.
Yes.
On there. So now it's just streamlined so much of what we do. And again, big thanks to Tony for helping out with this. It was I really like it. We are planning on trying to add a little bit more, but for now it works. It's stable. It does everything we want it to do. So we can go move on from there. So let's see here. Andrew goes, searches for GTI. Did you mean Mustang? No, actually, if you we're working on something to where if you go any Volkswagen, Porsche, Mercedes, or Audi search, it automatically pulls up a Google Map route from Berlin to Poland. So, okay, that went like... Greg!
What? Sorry, I was reading something. Say again.
How you doing?
Hi, I'm here.
But yeah, like I said, pretty excited for that.
Yes.
But at any rate, Greg, what do you want to talk about?
I'd like to talk about really sick builds.
Really sick builds, such
Yes.
as
Such as, didn't you have one that you wanted to talk about?
oh this so
Wasn't really a build per se, but it is a build upon something ridiculous.
it is worth noting. So there has been some spy footage. Uh, Spy footage floating around of a Mustang GTD going around the Nürburgring. Now, if you watched last week's show, we talked. Did we talk last week, or did you do it between last week? At any rate, Ford is back at the Nürburgring testing.
We didn't talk about it last week. I did a reel on it.
But there's a bunch of new aero tricks on it and stuff. And as people are like, "Ooh, the GTD's back at the ring," they noticed a blue Mustang that has absolutely nothing to do with Ford. I don't think, from everything I've been able to see. And but this, because it didn't have like the aero discs, it didn't have like the new dive planes, the updated hood vents, any of that stuff. But what it did have was a big old Whipple supercharger.
I love superchargers.
Supercharger. So let me just look this up real quick. So the supercharger that comes on the GTD and the GT500 and those things as standard, I believe is like a 2.6 or 2.8.
Yeah, I thought it was a 2.7.
Might be a 2.7.
Anyway, it has multiple literage.
Right. So let me just see here. Let me see if I can just find it right quick. But it has okay, so like that. But at any rate, I think we'll just go with 2.7 because that's what I just was able to see. The Whipple is at least 3 liters, so more displacement in a supercharger means more horsepower, which means instead of 815, it's probably somewhere around, at minimum, 900, if not a lot more. So that car, in and of itself, could be threatening the Corvettes.
Yep.
And then, of course, there's the other Mustang, more famous, that you did the reel on. That has all the aero tweaks. I mean, I guess the aero will help a lot more than just brute force.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's got 815. I don't think that they really need more power here. I think
Yes, they
it's
do.
more about. I mean, yes, always yes, but I think they need more front end grip. I think that's probably where it's lacking. Is my only guess, because if they're revising dive planes, if they're doing hood vents that have basically like louvered hood vents to channel air and to potentially get better air flow and downforce, that's probably the issue, because they were hitting 200 on the straight, so it's not like they're lacking for straight line speed here. Plus, there's really only one part of the Nürburgring where you need to be going flat out in a straight line. Yes, it's a very important part of the circuit, but like, it's not a large percentage of it. So if you're going to try to take it back from Corvette, then you're going to need aero as opposed to force.
Right.
Force.
So, like, here's what you need to understand. So the Mustang did 652 around the ring already. It's already done. They already have the time.
Yeah. Top 10 all time in production cars, by the way.
Yes. The ZR1 did a 650 and the ZR1X did a 649.
Right.
So it's a good thing all that extra electrons did absolutely diddly fuck for its lap time.
Right.
Suck it, nerds. So obviously, there's over 100 corners at the Nürburgring. So if you can shave a tenth or two, or let's just say you shave a tenth or so out of each corner, you're knocking on the door of what Corvette did, just in sheer cornering power.
Right.
That being said, I do think they're going to need to add some ass to this thing, power wise, because of the horsepower to weight deficit it has to the Corvettes.
01X, yeah.
And what else was I going to say? The Mustang's heavier than the Corvette, and it makes actually less horsepower than the ZR1 does, right? So that's not exactly working in its favor. So I do think that I'm going to theorize that they're going to see what they can do with extra aero. Hopefully beat what Corvette has, and then they're holding a little something back for when Corvette eventually responds with, "Oh, is that so? Well, let us just put our pro drivers behind the wheel and see what happens."
That's what I was going to say. The Corvette response here is not revising the car; it's putting the actual drivers. Not the look. I credit where credit's due. Running a sub 7 minute lap at the Nürburgring with like people that developed the car, that's like almost more impressive than a car going out and beating the record. However, like that's their aero edition, is putting a pro driver in there for sure.
Right. So, and look, we've said numerous times on this show that the fact that there is anything with a Mustang badge, even punching close to the fastest of the Corvettes, says a lot more about where Mustang is than where Corvette is.
Correct, because Corvette's supposed to be there.
The Mustang is supposed to be the pony car, not the full-on supercar.
Right, exactly. And GTD is a specialized car, homologation special, but it's still a Mustang at the end of the day, and it still has a Mustang platform, and like what it's doing is just stupid impressive.
Well, it's got like 2/3 of a Mustang platform, sort of.
Sure, still has the badge.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Let's just go here. Sean goes, at some point we're going to hit the point where it's either the limit is the tire grip, or the ability of the driver to stay awake against physics. I mean, yeah, but there's not a road car on the planet that comes anywhere close to a Formula One car in terms of lateral G's capable of, and we're still, they're still handling it. I think the only thing in motorsports history that came even close to that was at, son of a bitch, where was it? I want to say it was at Texas Motor Speedway in the kart days. And this was back when kart and IRL were huge rivals. So the kart was like, okay, we're not going to limit you. Go as fast as you want. And they're doing like 240. And like just the centripetal force of doing that amount of speed was actually causing drivers to have major issues. Hence why they canceled that race. But as far as street cars are concerned, we're nowhere near that. Like not even close. Not even with like these one-offs like the Valkyrie or the AMG 1 or whatever the crap Adrian Newey was cooking up with Red Bull and their proposed hypercar.
RB18.
Koenigsegg's, like you just pick one. We're not there.
Right.
Nor are we anywhere near it.
No.
So yeah. The Americans are duking it out at the Nürburgring, and everybody else is just like, oh.
I wonder. So I have a small conspiracy theory here. I wonder if this was kind of all premeditated between Ford and Chevy, of just like, hey, we're taking our GTD to the ring. We're gonna set. We're definitely gonna set sub 7 minutes. Here's what we think we're gonna do, and then they go out and set the mark, and then they share it with Corvette. Corvette goes, oh, okay, well, we're going to respond with our factory drivers. And Ford is going to say, oh, you know what, we're going to revise it a little bit. Then we're going to come back. And then Corvette throws the pro driver in. I really wonder if it's like sort of this back scenes joint effort to sort of drum up, interest and intrigue in the rivalry and blah blah blah. Probably not, but that's my little like conspiracy theory.
I would only say that this has happened organically. What you end up having is you have two cars that are obviously at some point going to end up at the Nürburgring.
Right.
And you have Mustang coming out and being, I think there may have been something of a space race to be the first American car to go sub 7, but I think Corvette realized they weren't going to be able to match it, so they let Ford have it. And then they go to the Nürburgring. It's like, we'll let you have that, but we're faster. And then you have a bunch of these guys who are like, okay, we'll go back.
Right.
And it just becomes a back and forth of just natural competitiveness. And not for nothing, but after the Mustang did it, and then after the Mustang did it again, when they bested their time, and they go and they look at the buzz it's generating for them, it just makes sense. It's just, 1 + 1 is equaling 3 here. Let's keep doing it. And now it's kind of become a back and forth to where I think there may be some cross communication or what have you. Maybe not. But it's just, at the end of the day, there's nobody out there doing this, right? Like Porsche goes out, sets a time, and then BMW, and then Mercedes, and so and so. And they're like, we are German, it's the best it can be, we are done. Meanwhile, the Americans are like literally duct taping what looks like, I know they're not duct taped on, and they're actually fastened, and like this has got to be like the 200-mile-per-hour tape to like smooth the lines or whatever. But it's arguably that it just feels inherently super American to be like, we did this. Oh yeah, well we did this. Oh yeah, well we can do this. Oh yeah, like the back and forth and back and forth. Like, tell me another car that's got generated anywhere near the buzz recently around the ring that these two cars have, or these two companies have.
I can't. Right? I literally can't think of one.
So, at any rate, Sean goes, I think tires are going to be the hard limit, and it cannot be possible for a car of any type, no matter what, for it to crack past 9Gs and lateral 4s. I mean, here's the thing. You say that, but like the grip that... Keep in mind, every single major motorsports series to some degree has baked in limits to the tire manufacturers. F1, they're not making the absolute best tire that Pirelli can technologically speaking. They've literally said, okay, the tire needs to last this long. It has to meet a certain level of grip, but it only has to last this long. NASCAR with Goodyear, they're going down the same freaking road. Michelin with sports cars, arguably the most tech transfer from track to street. Even they're like, no, but we want it to be within these specs, and it has to be a quote-unquote eco-friendly recycled tire. Anthony goes, I'm pretty sure that's why they invented a car with a fan underneath the chassis. I mean, fan cars are nothing new. The McMurray Sperling is arguably the one that's the most famous to everyone right now. But Gordon Murray's been doing that shit for a while. The T50 has
that's
it.
True.
He had him and Bernie Eccleston, before he was the boss, had a Barabum that was a fan car. Chaparral did it with, I think, the 2J. Not the engine, but the car that was labeled the 2J. That literally had an engine and then a snowmobile engine working as a vacuum cleaner.
Which is just awesome, by the way.
Right. It's interesting to see where a lot of this stuff goes. But again, like, if the cars that grip the hardest, i.e. Formula One and stuff like that, aren't even coming close to these hard limits. And look, you could absolutely send what's the word I'm looking for here? Unrestricted, how Porsche did the 919 Evo, the one that had fit no rules.
Yep. Where like every restriction was taken off and they just went and set every record ever.
Yeah, like a Formula
Yeah.
One team could theoretically do that. An IndyCar team could theoretically do that. And if you had a track that was like an oval, like Texas, where Texas is unique in that it's mostly corner, mostly turn on an oval, you will reach the limit of, because basically the human, like I said, the car drivers were literally getting out of their cars like almost drunk, like that to such
Yeah.
degree. So
Yeah, because it was so disorienting. I remember that.
you know, um, I don't think fan cars are ever really. You might have a fan car that has it for track mode, but imagine driving behind a fan car. I'd get out of my car, drag that asshole out of his driver's seat, and then beat him over the head with whatever blunt object I could find, because a fan car is literally sucking up all of the road dirt, grime, dust, whatever, and sandblasting at the front of the vehicle. At any rate,
Yeah.
what's new in breaking Gregson news? Go.
Nothing. Nothing in mind. Nothing for me. But there's good news. Fun news. So for those that didn't know, Nissan is actually bringing back the Xterra, and I think that's what we should talk about next, because it's cool. Everyone likes a good overland build, right? And apparently Nissan's bringing back the Xterra for the 2028 model year. And that's not too far off. We are 2 months away from 2026. And that means that Nissan's going to be bringing this thing out probably the year after that. So we're going to start seeing concepts and potential teasers for it probably this time next year, right?
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing it.
New York Auto Show time, maybe. Like April.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, with that said, there is someone on the good old interwebs that has done a pretty biblical build on an older Xterra, but basically modernized every single aspect of it. And it's a guy named, and everyone pronounces this differently. I say Nismo because Nissan Motorsport, Nismo. Everyone says Nismo.
Yeah, because do you say Nissan or Nissan?
Or Nissan. I say Nissan. To me, it's Nismo. So, Nismo Nick.
Do you know that's why all Japanese or Nissan factory teams have the number 23?
No. Is that because it's the numbers? Like, Ni is 2 and Mo
It's either
is 3?
Ni is 2 and either Mo or San is 3.
It's Son. Oh, that's right. Yeah. So, yeah. I remember learning this because my dad used to travel to Japan for his job for sales. And I think it's Ichi Ni San. So, Nissan. So, 23. That's actually very awesome. I didn't realize that until just this moment. And I think I may have known that before and completely forgotten it. That's very cool. Either way. So, Nissan has the old Xterra, obviously, and Nismo Nick basically rebuilt this. And I think you can actually watch his entire build on his YouTube channel. His name is Nick Schur, and he's been basically building this for over a year. It's a mashup of like old Xterra and like modern Frontier, which is, to me,
And Nissan Titan.
well, and Nissan Titan, but exterior wise, either way, which if Nissan's gonna throw a Z badge on a car and call it the new Nissan Z, when we all sort of know it's like a 370 still underneath the skin, just maybe kind of with like a newer engine, that's exactly what they should do for this Xterra, right? Is you have the bones essentially from the old one, or you have the Frontier, and then modernize it to be like a new Xterra, right? So the build on this thing is actually pretty ridiculous. It looks awesome. Like, I love the boxy sort of rear 3/4 of the car that he sort of like like retained from the old Xterra. I really loved the old Xterra shape. It was boxy. It was like rugged.
They're
outdoorsy,
good trucks.
They are, and they last a while. They have a cult following. People still love them. But the whole front end is redone. It's got wider fender flares. It's got the front end of a Frontier on it. It's pretty sick. Like the front track is massive. It's obviously got a lift. It's a big overlander, right? But the build list is extremely impressive. So it basically has this whole, and I'm going to run through some of the highlights of it. It's got a Nissan VK56 V8 engine, Z1 intake, JBA Performance shorty headers, 6-speed manual transmission, and LOJ conversions with a short throw shifter. Another Z1 here, so the Z1 intake, but also a Z1 flywheel and clutch kit. Full Nissan Titan suspension and lower control arms and coilovers. Also, stock Titan OEM axles. Then it has forged upper control arms, medium-duty leaf springs. It's got 6 piston calipers and 2-piece rotors up front. Rear slotted rotors, pads, lines. Like this thing has the absolute works done to it, and it's got a massive lift kit done to it, obviously, with pretty sick wheels on it, with big chonky off-road wheels. This thing is exactly what Nissan should bring to SEMA to like build hype for the new Xterra. Like this whole thing is disgusting in a good way. Like this is what builds for resto mod SUVs should be, because you have a modern Nissan truck in the Frontier that you can parts bin into the old Xterra. Like to me, this is like the perfect build. This thing is so nice. It's so good. And it uses so many like OEM aspects of it. It uses the old Xterra, uses the new Frontier. It's got Titan axles. It's got the Titan suspension. Like this is not just like everything. Every single thing is custom, right? But it looks like it was, which is the best way to do it.
Yes, sorry. That yawn is not indicative of this build because I think it's fucking awesome.
Chad was just getting tired of me talking.
No, it's that time. It's that time of year where my allergies are like, "Hello," and
Yeah.
I'm just. Ugh. But at any rate, my inflamed sinus notwithstanding, I think it looks really fucking awesome because again, it's literally like you could tell the front bumper, the bumpers, like the front bumper especially, is very custom. The hood especially, but from the A-pillar back, it's all Xterra, really.
Yeah. Correct.
I love the integrated steel bumpers. I think those are chef's kiss.
Yeah. Big fan of those.
And I'm going to be doing a video on this in the not too distant future. And I think we've mentioned this engine before and talked about just how Nissan made the VK56. And it's like, okay, throw it in the trucks. But this is a great engine. Just throw it in the trucks already. All right, fine. But give it a forged crankshaft so it can handle 2,000 horsepower. Sorry, what?
Yeah, they over-engineered the living shit out of it.
From what I understand with those engines, and they are becoming a popular junkyard engine over here now. And I think Lisa from Lisa, one of our Australian friends, might be able to shed some light on this. But the Australians, and I know New Zealand, there's a place in New Zealand that builds these engines, but they've been big over there for a while as sort of a engine swap option. But they throw the VK in everything motorsports related, and then when it came to a street car, they're like, "Yeah, just put it in a truck." It's like,
I love that. Just like, just throw it in there.
But it's got really good head design. The cam profiles are really good. I think the cooling system is a bit convoluted in the valley of the V. Nivlak 57, if you know who that is, he's the guy who's been playing around with the Atlas platform straight inline engines.
Yeah.
No, I've already had 2 Red Bulls today, Lisa. No need for another.
No Red Bull here, just downers.
Literally alcoholic snot water.
Don't say that as I'm drinking it.
Every time.
The taste is fine, but the taste plus that visual, not fine. Super not fine. Blech.
So, I don't even remember what the hell I was talking about. But I love this sort of stuff because, again, the guy clearly did a really good job with it.
Yeah.
I love trucks like this. I would absolutely copy this given the money.
Yeah, sure.
I had a lot of it. This goes, they're a very expensive custom engine over in the Australian neck of the woods. But here's the thing. Oh, I did actually pull up that guy's YouTube channel, and I since closed it.
In typical Shifting Lanes fashion. We had it.
Oh, in typical me fashion. The guy's posture annoys me, but I don't have perfect posture, so whatever. But if we go and Nismo Nick only has a little under 3,500 subs, so it's So go check him because this looks pretty dang. It looks like I was about to say, it looks like he's a bit of a Nissan fan. Really, Chad, with a name like Nismo Nick, you think he'd be a Nissan fan?
Nah, he's a big
but
Volvo guy.
Where
Volvo guy.
Turns out he's big into Chinese cars. No,
Polestar Pete.
Yeah, Polestar Pegson. Wait, that doesn't sound right.
Oh, phrasing.
Right, but where we've sort of gotten on Nissan for the Z, and I don't think what they did with the Z was inherently bad.
No, definitely not.
They brought the world another sports car, which is always a good thing. Always. Even if I don't like it, it's always a good thing. And I do like the Z. I think they're pretty good cars. The problem is they then slapped a Supra price tag on it when the Supra is new BMW. Love it or hate it, it's still new.
Correct.
The Z wasn't. As far as off-roaders go, the technology involved in off-roading hasn't changed since the Second World War. Body on frame, leaf springs. Yeah, you do things like bypass shocks and all this other sort of stuff now.
Yes. Suspension travel, body on frame, engine, go. The end.
Like
it's not rocket science.
You could recycle parts.
Right.
And nobody would care. And I think it would be also a good place to be because we've talked about this a lot too. We've talked about like, where's the Raptor and TRX fighter from GM?
Right. It literally has never been built.
There's a market
by
for
them
it.
At least. There is a market for it. It's a huge market for it. You know how many like Raptors and RHOs and freaking Hellcat Ram 1500s? What the TRX? Thank you. Wow. You just said it. Like, I see them, like, not all over the place, but I see them all the time. Like, at least 2 or 3 times a month just driving around. And I don't drive very far. And this is not a town that I live in that has lots of those things. So, there's a market for it. Like, they should really make one.
Yeah, and I mean, look, we've talked about Nissan ad nauseum here about how... Why doesn't it bring up the what I wanted to? There we go. We've talked about Nissan ad nauseum here about how, they need to make a splash. And we always say, like, we've been saying for a while, keep it simple, stupid. But think about it. If they were to do something that is like the SUV, and I'm not saying like, going this entire route on an SUV is a big gamble, especially since it's a lot more niche than, say, a sports car is. I know a lot of you Overland guys might disagree, but because we're so big in that community.
I know, huge.
That it's a big risk, but it's also it's not an expensive endeavor, right? You have the designs for a Titan or a Frontier chassis. You can build the entire thing with the suspension you need, and then plop a body on it. That's the beauty of body on frame. It's not a big R&D ask, and you could make a huge splash. Like, hey, look, here's the new Nissan Xterra bubbity boobity bop. It has a 450 horsepower V8 engine under the hood, which immediately makes it more interesting than the current Raptor with the Eco Crash. God, those engines sound horrible.
Raptor R. That's the way.
Well, why do you think they made the Raptor R?
I know. We all know why. 100%.
And then they could sit here and go, here's the Nismo variant. And you look down and it's got a big ass supercharger. You're like, wait, Nissan. Like, what is the Emilio Estevez Charlie Sheen movie where they're trash guys? I think it might be Beach. But like they're like golf clap. Like,
I remember that. Yeah,
the entire automotive community would do that if Nissan were to go that route, and it would give them a place to play in a place that is not overly. And again, this thing doesn't need 8 million horsepower, but again, if it has a V8, has about 400 ish, makes a lot of torque, is good off road, has the aggressive body, it will sell. But here's the big but in all of this scenario: they have to be able to. They have to figure out a way to build that and have it be $60,000 to $80,000 depending on options.
Yeah,
and that's where I think it falls flat.
Agree.
Because everything we want is always $10,000 to $15,000, $10,000 to $20,000 more expensive than we want it to be.
100%. Also, that movie's called Men at Work. I had to look it up because it was going to bother me to literally no end.
Men at Work.
Yeah. That was a good movie. I got to watch that again.
They did everything better back in the day.
Yeah. So yes, that was pre-drunk or drug-addled breakdown Charlie Sheen.
I'd argue though, Charlie Sheen, when he was even when he was off his ass on cocaine, still managed to be a fairly decent, like, still churned out pretty good stuff, like Men, 2.5 Men. It was all the stuff behind the scenes.
Oh yeah, he's still a good actor, but like that's also Hollywood. Yeah, I mean, but that's Hollywood, right? Like they're all like that. Like they can still act on all that crap. What are we doing now?
I'm trying to find the clip.
Oh no! Oh, the golf clap clip.
Yeah.
Nice.
God, those things were just better. But yeah, so let's see here. Sean goes, that makes me want to build the Isuzu more. I mean, at this point, you have an open canvas for both. You have an LS engine lying around. I'm just gonna say. Andrew goes, I'd argue, and Sean goes, but I need the engine from Timmy for that build. Got to slap that Volvo motor into the Nugget with a blower. So you want to supercharge the red block, which is a 4-cylinder, and put that into the Isuzu? I'm confused. Andrew goes, I'd argue that the Land Cruiser is still the ultimate off-roader, maybe the 4Runner. Obviously, Toyota they're kind of known for that. But like, look at Toyota when they did the launch of the new, what is it, the Land Cruiser, the 4Runner, the Lexus of equivalents, and yada yada. But I do agree, and I really want to play with either 460, the Lexus 460. What is it? What's the 4Runner? The Lexus 4Runner with the V8.
The GS or the GX.
The GX 460.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, because they named the new one the TX, which is hysterical because it's the Lexus. Texas. It's the Lexus Texas. You're literally an A away from it being named after a porn star.
Please don't demonetize us, Facebook. Thank you.
At any rate, and there goes all of our female viewership. But no, the GX 460 or the 4Runners that came with the 2UR, the 4.6 liter Toyota V8. That is literally just like we've talked about the 2UZ. We've talked about the 1UZ and the 3UZ. Well, the 2UZ is just longer. So it's just taller. It's a tall deck. We've talked about tall decks before. But those blocks are made out of cast iron and apparently made out of the same cast iron as like the 2Js and all those were. So basically unobtainium. So they can handle a shit ton of power. But I would love to get my hands on one of those. Kind of build the motor up. You'd have to do some head work. Slap a positive displacement blower on it and go to work. Let's see here.
Hey, keep going with chat. I'll be right back.
Gotcha. Andy goes, I love the guys that get Raptors as company truck and write it off. I mean, that's just smart businessing. If you can prove that you use your vehicle for... If you use your vehicle for at minimum 50% work, which isn't that hard, you can pretty much... They've since changed the law a little bit. I forget the exact tax code. But effectively, if it's over 6,000 pounds and you prove you use it at least half the time for work, it's a full write-off. It's a little less than that now, but it's like 96% versus 100%, somewhere in that neighborhood. So you see a lot of people doing that. They're actually working, and some states may have actually changed, or the IRS, I forget. I saw an article, but they're clamping down on it because what people were doing, like real estate agents were doing, were going out and buying EVs because they're stupid heavy, like a Porsche Taycan Turbo S, and claiming it as a work vehicle, which met all of the criteria, but it also is 6,000 pounds. And people are like, that's not what we meant when we said work vehicle. So, Sean goes, my logic with the Volvo swap into the Isuzu is the engine shares the bell housing pattern with the stock manual, but also the turbo red blocks makes more torque than the V6 from Isuzu, and the blower would just make that better. I mean, yeah, but also there's a reason you don't see too many supercharged 4 bangers, though it would work. It'd be instant response. Yeah, you probably want that now that I think about it. Just because to make any sort of power, you'd need bigger boost from a snail. I would pay money to see that, but first, all-wheel drive V8 C30. Like you mentioned before. At least it goes men at work. And then goes on to say, I hate when people build out a great 4x4 and then go bush bashing or on a sand dune. Yeah, I mean, the pavement princess is a thing, unfortunately. I think that spans all cultures. Which is why, like, there's a large part of me that wants a TRX or a Raptor R. Like, a really big part of me, because I love that. But I don't necessarily do the most off-roading, unfortunately. If I could afford one of those, that might change, but like I said, ideally, perfect world, I'd get a 4Runner with the 2UZ, supercharge it, metal, bumpers up front, and in the rear, maybe a deer slayer in the front, roof rack, slight little overland build, and then go find trails that I could use it on. We actually have a really good off-roading video from way back in Shifting Lane's infancy, where we had a really highly modified Jeep versus a stock Jeep a stock new Jeep of that time frame. Actually, with the new shiftinglanes.com, I could find that quicker and easier than ever. Haha, shameless plug. Thought this would be easier. Come on, it's in here. Oh, there. It was literally the first thing. Let's see here. Lisa's an Estevez fan. Golf clap. GX470 answer the question. Yeah, like we said, Andrew, Andrew repeated what we were kind of saying. Is the problem that they're all 10 to 20K more than you want them to cost. That's the biggest thing, which is why, like, we all screamed for an ultra hot hatch. Ford's like, here's the Focus RS. It was hot. It sold like a ton. Well, not a ton, but you get the idea. It was a hot commodity. And then it just petered out. To be 100% honest, only your beloved Volkswagens have been able to keep the hatchback game going uninterrupted for such a long period of time. Thoughts on people having 4x4s tricked out or not who don't go off-road? I get it. What really pisses me off is when the people do the lift kit, the big knobbly tires, but are also low-profile tires. That pisses me off. Because even if you did take it off-road, you're now just going to destroy your rims or wheels. And you've taken a lot of the off-roady capableness, i.e. the sidewall, which you use in off-roading if you're doing any sort of major deflection and stuff like that. Holy shit, when did we do that? 8 years ago. Wow. Let's see here. Sean goes, I think the 1UZ, I almost came off full-blown Brit/Australian there. 1UZ. Forget that. 1UZ heads can go onto the 2UZ block for better flow. Don't quote me on that, obviously. All of the UZ heads suck when it comes to flow. Because of the nature of the way they did a very good job engineering. So we'll use the Coyote as an example. Dual overhead cam. Massive heads. No, moving on. The UZ family, they managed to do that by only having one cam gear connected to a scissor gear so they could put the cams closer together. The problem with that is the angles in the heads themselves, unless you port them a certain way, are very acute. So it leads to a lot of airflow isn't as smooth as it should be. So anyone who makes any sort of power out of UZ engines and without just ramming boost down its throat are porting the heads. So it's like $2,000 for a set, I believe, if you with a core. So not cheap, but as a point of comparison, actually that's about the same as what it's going to cost to do the Coyote heads. Newsflash, if you missed it, I've got a price quote on porting the Coyote heads for my motor, springs, retainers, valve seats, like one or two other things, $3,800. So that will absolutely be happening. Which I can't wait for. And those are not full race spec, a tick behind it, which means theoretically the valve train can handle 10,000 RPM, or almost 10,000 RPM. Obviously, we're not going to spin the motor that high because I don't have access to that kind of spicy fuel. Let's see here. Andrew's going, Section 179. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, that's also part of the appeal of me getting like a big ass SUV, or like if I was to be like, if I was to get an electric car, what would it be? Probably a Taycan, so I can write it off under 179.
Hell yes, that's the way to think. Super fast electric Porsche, also tax write-off.
It's over 6,000 pounds.
I know.
Not my fault EVs are obese.
Yeah, thanks battery tech for making everything heavier and less efficient.
Oh my gosh, I still
Yet biblically fast. Appreciate that.
Sean goes, I do a fair amount of accidental off-road. Is it really accidental, given your chosen career path and where you live? I feel like you have the Isuzu because of the accidental off-roading that you do frequent enough to be considered your day-to-day routine. And yes, I'm going to continue to do air quotes. I go to survey a property, his job, and never know if the road is paved or I'm going through a trailhead to get there. I mean, welcome to Appalachia. Lisa goes, when it comes to like people who don't use their built off-roaders for off-roading, such a waste of something specifically built to go off-road, and saying that there's nothing at the moment that I would say I must have that. Yeah, I have driven every generation of Raptor. And I just love the I could if I want to kind of side of it.
Yeah.
I like, I'll put it this way. Like cars, Greg's car, my car, etc. Almost every single car, especially a sporty car, looks better a half inch to a full inch lower than its stock ride height. I think off-roaders look much better with 2 to 3 inches lifted and a 37-inch tire.
Hell yes.
It's just the way my brain works.
Big facts.
Where else was I going? Sean. Back to Sean. I have good coverage with my fleet now. Off-road rig, daily / date night car. Road race car coming at some point. I suppose I need a rally car to even it out. No, it just makes Timmy's suspension adjustable enough to where you can raise it and lower it and put different tires on, and you have a rear-wheel drive rally car, as the Swedes and their god of motoring intended.
Damn straight.
Yeah, Lisa asked, did you watch the Gold Coast Supercars race? I've watched clips. Greg and I were talking about this. I forget if it was on stream or just... No, it was in our private chat. How your drivers, I think, missed the memo and thought they were at an X Games event with the air they were catching. I actually think that's the same
Tony
fucking...
Hawk impression.
Yeah, so... and Andrew goes, every used Raptor ad, never been jumped. Fair.
Yeah,
so
that's the Craigslist selling point.
Greg, where's Greg?
Me. Like Mr. Smith from The Matrix. Me.
No, I just wanted to send you a link so you know what I'm about to show chat.
Oh, sweet.
Let's see here. First of all,
yeah, I forgot about
this.
That.
Was 8 years ago, and I think the funniest thing about it is, without actually knowing any better whatsoever, I am wearing the exact same hoodie right now as I did in that video.
Nice, solid.
I should probably show the ladies and gentlemen what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
but
keep them in the dark.
God, 8 years ago.
I know.
I'm not a fat ass.
Super old.
But this is one of our oldest videos. But this is back when we took, and this is the weirdest part. It's like right behind the house of where your parents live.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
it's a crazy how like
it's super close.
It's like in a dude's backyard that he has this like little miniature off-road course.
Yeah.
Like the old,
pretty sick.
The old graphics and text because old YouTube.
Yeah.
But that was an absolute riot because the other car was typical off-roader, had the gearing to where literally you could do, like, it felt like 10 miles an hour without even using the accelerator, right? Like, remember when we'd always tell people, what's the easiest car to learn how to drive stick shift on? A Wrangler with the 4-liter. Let's see here. Sean goes, we don't need roads. Lisa laughs. That's up there with the big block RVs that have never been neutral dropped. Who's neutral dropping an RV?
Only absolute legends.
Classic. We have quite the diversity. We've got Australia in the house. We have Appalachian Sean. We have and then we have New England blue blood Andrew. You live in Connecticut. You get enough said. But oh my gosh,
that's great.
But I guess for this, I'm gonna step aside for a quick moment. I like how this thing is going off road and it's on. I just realized it's on QQ plates. Which to anyone who's not from New Jersey, QQ plates are historics, which means you can register. It's registered as a historic car, which means you can get historic insurance for it, but it also comes with a mileage restriction. Though I'm guessing you're not covering a lot of miles with this because I'm willing to bet this thing death wobbles like a mother.
Well, wasn't this thing not road legal, and he can only drive it on his property or something like that?
Greg, it was 8 years ago. I don't remember 4 weeks ago.
That's why that's why I asked. I'm just like, my memory is garbage from 8 years ago. I'm just like, I'm curious. But it wasn't this like a 70s
Oh, it's
Jeep?
wicked old.
Yeah. So that's why it's on QQ plates, is because it can be.
Yeah. But yeah. So, but this reminds me of a good topic for Greg to discuss while I take a quick
Ooh.
sinus clearing moment that nobody wants to witness. What you call it? What is, and it can all be the same thing or it can be multiple different things, but press vehicle or press event, and it can't be an auto show. It can be like the GT350 event we went to at Pocono, right?
Okay.
Like that style thing.
Right.
What is your favorite car we've ever driven as at a press event, or your favorite press vehicle you've ever test driven? And if it's one answer, great. If not, give them both answers.
Cool. I've probably 3 or 4 answers, but they are hierarchical, so I can rank them at least.
Nice.
So, with that said, as Chad goes to relieve himself,
I didn't say I was doing that.
we all know what you were
nice
doing.
Job.
That's all right. We need a visual.
This is CNN.
So over the years we've done a lot of like cool shit. I'll be honest with you. Like for those that don't know, if you're watching this and you're just like new to this, like Lisa, I know you're sort of like new to the shifting lane sphere of things. We started in 2013 as a website, which Chad was mentioning at the beginning of the show, where we were doing like general blog stuff, right? You know, we were doing car reviews, and the whole genesis of that was like Chad, myself, and Hanson, the third person that we do it with over on the main channel of Shifting Lanes, and obviously in some of the shorts and stuff. You know, I was getting a new car back in 2013, ended up going with a 2014 Subaru WRX hatchback, great car, loved it. But I was just like, you know, we have, 3 car guys in our circle of friends. Why don't we just talk about cars and make a website and stuff? And Chad and Hanson were like, okay. So we're like, great, let's make a website. So we made a website, started yapping about it, writing about it, and grew to pretty decent, amount of viewers, which is cool. Then, that sort of tapered off over time because, we were mostly using Facebook for traffic, and, pages kind of got, pages kind of got like shut down, and we didn't get shut down. Pages were like, man, all the traffic was just like taken away from them, even though Facebook sort of started as like a publishing platform. So either way, long story short is we went to YouTube in 2017, and, Bob's your uncle, and that's how we sort of ended up here. We've been doing this for a long time. And the whole reason I said that little bit of a 2 to 3 minute diatribe at the beginning is because we've been to a lot of press events. We've done a lot of traveling. We have gone to many auto shows, driven many cars over the years. So to narrow it down to like just a couple cars or a car that's my favorite, difficult to do. There is, however, one car that I will never, ever, 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 ever forget driving. And it is the reason why I still want to play the lottery and win it. Because, a lot of people that are rich, they tend to like jump in and out of supercars, and, they want to experience all different supercars, and they sort of get bored with them after a while. This one experience proved to me that I will legitimately never get bored of supercars or super sports cars in the same sense of like, if I ever did hit a lottery and we would be able to buy like 1 or 2 or multiple of these, like in and out and whatever, is I got to experience the McLaren GT. And it was like, I think at the time it was a 570 GT. So it was before the actual GT. Like McLaren had that as its own model with a different body. They're all relatively the same with engine and platform and stuff, but like the GT is its own car now. It was the 570 GT. So it was the 570, but it was the more like, GT version. It was Grand Tourer it had its own like luggage set, but they brought that to test days at for IMPA, which stands for International Motor Press Association. A lot fancier than it actually is. Mostly just a northeastern region press crew, and all of the OEMs would bring out their cars, and it was very cool. They've condensed it to basically just one day, and it doesn't happen at Monticello Motorsport Park anymore, which is where it used to be. So we actually got to do like track driving and stuff like that. But McLaren was there one year. We didn't get to drive it on the track, but we did get to take turns actually driving the car throughout the back roads of upstate New York. And the back roads of upstate New York are pretty freaking good. Like New York, the Northeast gets a bad rap for not having great driving roads. There's some really freaking good driving roads around there. So I got 30 minutes with the car, and I'll be damned if I didn't take every single second of that 30 minutes and just put the car through its paces, but also try to like just cruise with it too. It's a car that doesn't really cruise. Like it says GT on it, but it's still a mid-engine supercar. And it was my first time driving one, and it was one of those things where the nose, it like dives off the front. You really can't see the bottom of it, but you really feel like you are on the road. Like you feel like there's no nose, and you are literally driving a front seat, like on the nose seat go-kart with just a big old car behind you. But man, that's an experience I will never forget. I definitely floored it and got up to 100 miles an hour way faster than I rightfully should have. And it boggled my mind as to how cars perform. And I knew it was going to be fast. Like I had already driven fast cars. Like that day, I drove an R35 GTR Nismo, and I'm like, oh, this is fucking fast. And then I got in the McLaren GT, and it's technically slower from a 0 to 60 standpoint, but I'm like, this feels way faster in every single capacity than the GTR did. So like that to me is the most, that's the number one experience for me, is the experiencing the McLaren and driving it and putting it through its paces, having it on a back road, and just everything about that drive I vividly remember. I remember the fall foliage. I remember.
You would remember the foliage.
But I remember, but everything, dude. Like I remember the color of the car, the interior, the seating position, where my hands were, every bit of the road, the undulation, the foliage, just absolutely everything about that drive I will remember for as long as I live. There are other cars that are definitely tiered in that list. First gen Civic Type R also on that list, just because of like what that car can do as a car, boggled my mind. Like, oh yeah, it's gonna be this front end manual tool.
Hold on, before you get too into your love of a freaking Civic, and I'm not interrupting because but
That's cool.
Quick story on the 570 GT.
Oh yeah.
So when they had it at test days, Greg was obviously, oh my god, it's a British supercar. And like, it was like, where's the list to sign up to drive it? Blah, blah, blah. Goes and signs up to drive it. Hanson does it because Hanson wants to drive it. At the time, we had writers working for us. And one of our writers is like, yeah, I'll go. Signs up to drive it. I'm like, meh, I'm here to drive other stuff. Like, it's... I know this is going to sound really, really bad on the face of it, and almost like, come on, most people would kill for a chance to drive a McLaren. But it was the baby McLaren and the base model of the baby McLaren. So I'm like, I've driven fast European cars. There's
How
other
good is
stuff
this gonna
here.
be, right?
There's a Viper sitting right over there. I'm gonna go drive that. So I go. I'm doing the road testing, like ATSV, CTSV, all the Hellcats you could think of. This was pre-Demon and Red Eye. And I'm going around. I'm like, basically doing, does it have a V8? I'm driving it. Technically, the McLaren had a V8. But anyway, So like I'm done. I'm like hanging out. I'm waiting for I don't remember what car to become available so I could do the road test because they split it off into 2 days. The first day was road test. The second day was road test, but there are specific cars you could take out on the track. That's what I was there for. So we find one of our writers, kid by the name of Chris, and he was pretty fresh out of college at this point, and he had signed up to drive it. And he's like, "Oh, my call to drive the McLaren is coming up soon. I'm gonna go wait in line." I'm like, "Oh, I'll hang out here." Weirdly enough, we had like some of the PR people who were in charge of the press cars and stuff there. We had some pretty good working relationships with some of them, and they would come and find me for certain things. The Jaguar girls, I don't know what it was, but and we've talked about the story with that. It's like Greg drives it. Something's wrong. They're like, "We don't believe you, Chad. Go drive it." Like, and everything. So I'm just waiting in line with Chris. He gets to the front of the line. They're like, "Okay, you ready for it? I just need to see your driver's license, and everything like that." And they look at it and they go, "Oh, we're so sorry. You need to be at least 25 to drive this," or something to that effect. And he's like, "So I can't drive it?" And they're like, "No, we're sorry." So I'm just sitting there, like, literally hadn't waited in line more than like 3 or 4 minutes at most, just shooting the shit. Like, excited that this kid that we were able to bring on is going to be able to, like, checklist the dream thing for him. Like, I'm like, that's pretty damn cool that we're in a place to be able to provide that. And I could see him and stuff, and I go, "I'm in my 30s. Can I just drive it in his place?" We work for the same organization. I actually own the organization, or one of the owners of the organization, and stuff like that. And they're like, "Yeah, sure." So they're like, throwing me the keys. I hopped, like, literally didn't do anything other than I spotted opportunity and just got in it and drove it. And it was a cool car. It was an impressive car. Like all McLarens, the way those things somehow feel planted but not jarring, is really insane. How good they pulled that off. Because at the time, it was one or the other. It was, this thing feels really good cruising, and like it sacrifices a lot in the corners, suspension stiffness, all that other sort of stuff. And it was an incredibly impressive car. And of course, I had to let Chris have a little bit of a go behind the wheel. I don't know, what's the statute of limitations on excessively speeding? Because
it's all 7 years.
oh, fantabulous!
Way past.
Fantastic. Yeah, that thing saw easily triple digits.
Oh yeah, I literally said before you came back on, I was just like, yeah, I got up to 100 way faster than I rightfully should have. Like, I definitely had it at probably like 120 or 130 on a back road. Not smart. However, again, we'll remember that the rest of my life.
And I'm glad you did, because if you've spent any time around Greg or I, you'll understand that we obviously have a shared passion for the automobile, but that's kind of where we diverge.
Right.
You know, very rarely are Greg and I like, "I need that car in that spec." We're very much like, Greg's like, "Yo, you see this? I love that." And I'm like, "Good on you, buddy."
Good. I love that for you.
I love that you love it.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very relationship-forward relationship. Good for you. I love that for you.
But on the flip side,
in every aspect.
But on the flip side, if we were into the same sort of stuff, it'd be boring.
Correct. Yes. But that car specifically, like that spec, that color, the tan interior, like, it's like, it was such a perfect combo for like that McLaren. And it's just like, if I'm ever going to get one of these cars, that one, exactly that one, I need it. It was so perfect.
Yeah, let's see here. Let's see. Sean goes, "I can't go to Australia. I would try to find the most random and obscure car I could to hot rod and race." I mean, in today's day and age, you don't actually need to go on the, I don't know what it is, 7-day flight to get to Australia. I have no idea. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the time difference. It's like, hi, good morning. I don't know if it's Tuesday, Wednesday, or December over there, but at any rate, let's see. Lisa goes, unbelievably, I drove a stock standard Rover 3500 in the early 90s, and it was insanely hardcore. I looked down, I was doing 180 never been on the moon units, but it felt like 60. Yeah, I'm not doing that math. And she goes, Sean, you don't need to look far to go this. Let's see here. And Andrew goes, let's just say this. Pre-kids, 130 miles an hour. Yeah, so... No, and I mean, you've talked about the Civic Type R. There is so much nothing I feel for that car.
No, I agree. I actually,
and I'm not trying to shit on it and tell you to shut up. I mean,
I don't think that at all. I think to me, it's sort of the same thing. Like, I don't think because of the car and how like amazing the performance is, like I wouldn't buy one. I wouldn't. It's just there are certain experiences I have in cars that make me not forget it and make me just wake up and be like, oh shit, this is not what I expected. I will remember this car because of this cool experience that I have. Like the GTR Nismo, insane performing car, really cool. It's an experience. Again, I'll remember that because it was like $155,000 R35 that was like the best performing R35 ever at the time, from factory, and like carbon fiber everywhere. Like, I'll remember that. But like but I knew what that car was going to do because of how much everyone had talked up the R35. I'd already driven an R35 the year before, and I'm like, I know what this car is going to do. Again, I'll remember that experience. But the Civic Type R was more memorable to me in that sense because I came into it thinking like, oh, cool, first Civic Type R in the States. This is going to be a cool experience. It's a front wheel drive car with a manual transmission. I know what this is going to be like. And then I experienced that car on back roads and on the track, and I experienced what torque vectoring really could do. Like, that was the first car I drove where I understood how torque vectoring and how physics of cars really worked in that sense, because that car did way more than it rightfully should have. And that's why it's super memorable to me. It was sort of that like mind F, right? Again, it's not enough for me to just be like, oh, geez, I need that. The McLaren, however, definitely was that experience. Like, I need that in my life. At least some point in my life, I need to own something like that for sure. The Civic Type R is always high on my list because, again, it was that like, this car should not be able to do these things because it's a Civic and it's a Type R, cool, whatever. This car is way outperforming what I think it rightfully should. And the same thing, again, I always talk about this, was the GT350, was a Mustang. Because before that, I was like, I know what Mustangs are capable of. You know, they're very cool, very capable, modern pony sports cars that have, you know, big front engine V8, rear wheel drive. It's going to be a riot. And then I drove the GT350 and I'm like, this flips literally everything on its head from what Mustangs rightfully should be able to do. And it was that same experience. That car I would own. The Civic Type R I wouldn't. The GT350 Mustang for sure I would own because it's beautiful. It sounds insane. It's one of the coolest cars ever made in my opinion. But like, that and the CTR are on the same page in the sense of I came in expecting one thing and then came out with my mind completely blown from a performance perspective. So that's why like things like that really stick with me. But I've also driven like insane performance cars. I've driven a Bentley. What was the Bentley they had there?
Hold on, did you just follow up? I've driven insane performance cars with I've driven a Bentley.
Yes, but I'm getting there. Things that so let me take it back. I've driven insane cars. Period. The Bentley they had there that one year I drove. I drove the AMG GTR on track, which was insane. That car's freaking like again well beyond what I'd be capable
That's
of.
one of the cars
That's
I've
one of
driven.
your cars.
Yes.
Yeah,
And it's one of the very, very, very rare cars that aren't offered with a manual transmission that I want.
yeah. There's like 5 of them on Earth, and you're just like, yep, give me that. But that one didn't stick with me as much because going into that, I had driven the GTS the year prior, and the GTR is just like the GTS turned to 11. Like I knew what that was gonna do, and that one, it's still like I still remember driving that car, but it was in the same sense of just like I knew what that one was gonna do, and it did exactly what I thought it was gonna do. That's why it's not as high on the list of my memorable stuff as the CTR and the GT350. Because those two totally shaped me in a different way from performance car perspective of what certain types of cars are capable of. So that's why those two are so high on my list. The fourth one, I guess, was the whole hierarchy. Was like McLaren, then probably GT350, then Civic Type R, and then probably the last one was something that I didn't even drive. Was you remember the off-road course at Monticello? What we took, I think, a Land Rover. Was it an LR4? Something. It was some Land Rover or Range Rover, and we did this off-road course, and we had this car at like.
Oh, is that the one where we were
degrees.
all sitting in it?
Yeah. And like that, we were all in the same car.
Totally forgotten about that.
We thought the whole thing was going to tip over, and the guy driving is just like, "No, this is fine." And I'm like, things like that. So like, stick with me because we're all leaning like, "Holy shit, we're gonna flip over." And the guy's just like, "La la 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 la, this is fine." Things like that again blew me away because of like what the angle was of that SUV was going at. Like it should not have been able to do that, but it did. And it was able to take like cars are so much more durable and capable than we think they are. Like we could never get that kind of performance or off-road prowess out of a truck without training, right? And this guy had been like,
I mean, we could
drives this all the time.
The likelihood of us surviving that particular endeavor.
Exactly. So like again, but that's like fourth on my list because again, it showed me that SUVs and trucks and off-road things that are luxurious or just in general just like it showed me what things could do off-road even in just a normal SUV guise. And I'm like, that's super cool to me. Like you would expect a Jeep Wrangler to do that. You'd expect a Bronco to do that. But then like, oh, this Range Rover is just like casually destroying this off-road horse.
Even in their heyday of being absolutely an utter dog shit electronically, everything would fail on them. They were still taking it on, like it was still the safari vehicle.
Right, exactly. So you're just like, oh, like what I think it was a Top Gear America episode where they're like, if I'm ever going to climb a ski resort, I'm probably going to take a Range Rover because it like in stock form decimated everything they brought. Maybe it was, I think it might have been the original trio. Wasn't that the episode where Hammond had the Raptor or something like that, and they were trying to like go off-roading? And
you talking about the one in South America, Central America? Death Road?
Maybe. No, it was snow. It was specifically snow.
Oh, well, Hammond. Was it the one where they left James May on the top of a mountain or something
I think so.
Or no, where they left Hammond on the top of a mountain and Clarkson came to rescue him in a Raptor.
That's right, yes. But it was one of the Top Gears, either original or America, and they basically were like, let's see how far up the ski slope we can go with these things.
Oh, that was in Cars, I think.
No, because someone drove a Range Rover, and it was like a bone stock Range Rover. And they were like, well, if you ever need to climb a ski resort, Range Rover it is. And but then none of them got to the top, but the Range Rover made it far beyond everything else. Like destroyed everything else. And eventually he beached it and got it dug in the snow and couldn't get out. But it was just again, things like that stick with me. It was oh, well, that's not what I was expecting at all. So anyway, that's the very, 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 very long-winded way of saying there are some cool cars that we've driven over the years.
Yeah, that's, believe it or not, that is why shifting lanes was a thing.
Yeah.
As all we wanted to do was drive cool shit. Go to cool shit. That's it.
100%.
That's all we wanted to do. And then it was wait a minute, there's money to be made here.
Yes, let's do that too. Drive cool shit and make money? This is good. We like this.
Insert Idiocracy meme of I like money.
I like money.
But Lisa mentioned in chat that I need to check out the GTHO Phase 3 Ford. A Falcon. But
get the hell out.
Yeah, right. Oh, God, I just went to the... Cut it out. 90s kid.
What was that from? Oh, man.
Full House. It was
that's right.
Uncle Joey.
Cut it out. That's right.
Still to this day, one of the biggest mindfucks in the history of my life was growing up a 90s kid, watching basically everyone's dad on TV, a.k.a. Bob Saget.
Danny Tanner. That's right.
And then later in life, in what was that? Early, mid, I guess it's got to be our late 20s.
Early 2000s, because we were in college. I remember.
And we went and saw Bob Saget stand up.
Oh, God.
Could not be more the opposite.
Filthy. The absolute filthiest at the time stand up. And you're like, what's that? What happened to Dad? It was hilarious, and it's still fun. It's still funny to this day.
But at any rate, the Falcon is sort of, and Lisa's definitely going to correct me on here, but it's sort of if I had to describe it from my limited understanding of pretty much everything, it's kind of like the hot sedan variant that was almost the Mustang. I don't know when we started exporting Mustangs outside of the country.
Yeah.
Despite my ownership of two and being a rather large fan of both of them, I'm not what you call a Mustang historian. At any rate, Falcon.
Thunder Cougar Falcon.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. But here's the thing. I don't know if there is a divergent point between the Australian Falcon and the Falcon we got. I don't know if a 1964 Ford Falcon is the same basic car here as it would be over there. Not a clue. Because I know, obviously, the original Mustang was based on a Falcon chassis. Just with, a sporty-ass body. F-body? That I don't know, Andrew. I don't know why why my gut wants to say no, but I can't say it with any sort of confidence. But this is basically, and this is another thing that we may or may not have gotten to next week or what have you. But you go and you look at hot rods from Australia and and again, I'm not clued into that scene by any stretch. But I have seen enough. I have watched a Mighty Car Mods episode or 20,000. Are you cracking your knuckles?
No. Also, yes.
I just remember watching. It's they're talking about all these hot rods. And I'm like, who are these people hot rodding 4 doors? They have too many doors.
Hot rod, 2 doors.
And I'm sitting here, and it's obviously they're hot rodding what they had. I don't know if a lot of the coupes that we got didn't go down there. I have no idea. there's still a large segment of me that like feels Ford Australia is Ford in name only kind of a deal. But yeah, apparently this is a $250,000 vehicle. 351 Cleveland. That's the other thing that I absolutely adore about old school muscle cars is that it's like Ford. It's like we need a 350-ish cubic inch engine. Let's make 2 of them. One in Canada and one in Cleveland. Now, if you know anything about geography, you'll know that Windsor is literally right across the river from Detroit. So it's not all that surprising. But at any rate...
Sorry, I'll be right back again. We got kid stuff.
Insert Trojan commercial here.
Accurate.
Oh, I'm just thinking. At any rate, let's see. Sean goes, still butthurt for it. Never kept the Falcon here in the States. I jokingly said it. They did it. It's called the Mustang. I mean, if they show me what nameplates have survived from the 60s. Here. F-Series pickup. The Mustang. Obviously stuff like the Camaro didn't survive. Tough break, Chevy. Do better next time. You've had stuff like the Challenger on again, off again. I'm trying to think. I mean, Ford doesn't make a car outside of the Mustang, so it's like, that's easy. None of the, obviously you had the Charger, but there was something off-putting about a 4-door Charger, especially someone who grew up loving the body style of the OG. Not the original Charger. The, 67, 68, 69 Chargers. Shark goes, the Aussies still outdo us in burnouts. Well, they distilled it into an art form, I would say. But I will say this. You're starting to see more and more, I will call it Australian-style burnout contests popping up. That's another one that's just the hundreds of thousands of dollars that go into some of these cars to beat the ever-living F out of is hysterical to me. Let's see here. We had the Fairmont, which was the closest thing to a Falcon. Sean goes, F-body is GM Camaro and Trans Am Firebird. That makes sense. And now I'm thinking of the G-body shuffle. If you know anything about drag racing. Let's go. Stang's Vets had to be imported, maybe one dealer. Now we get pretty much only USA trucks. Chevrolet C-Series. Mopar Magic. No, I mean, the Chevy pickup truck series now is Silverado. Has been for a while. But like the C10, the K10, whether it be C10, the pickup, or the Blazer, we don't really get those no more. Trying to think. Well, we only have the big 3. Ford, Chevy, the artist formerly known as Mopar. I don't even know what cars are even Mopar making now. As a journalist, I should know these things. Dodge. Let's try that. I can internet. Let's see here. Vehicles. Here we go. Yeah, they have the Charger and Charger Daytona. And then the Rams. I think Power Wagon, I think, is a name that's around from the 60s. The Hornet, which is now a crossover, which I don't think counts. Man, do we really not make that any cars anymore, really? That is borderline depressing. Lisa goes, the 2023 SVG burnout at the end of the season in Adelaide. Most epic burnout ever. He won the championship and then went our way. The Bronco is still a thing. It had a long when did the OJ Bronco die? I want to say late 90s. So almost 20 years between Broncos. Which I guess you could technically say the same thing happened with Toyota and the Supra. Mercedes still does a S-Class, but it's a... what was I looking for? Not that. Oh, that's news. All right, that fits with what I was thinking, Sean. 1997 being the last Bronco before the new one. I don't know how I felt about those. I remember a few people around here had them. I think when it comes to the full-size sort of two-doors, Chevy easily did a better job. Those things, the C and the K 10 Blazers were fucking amazing. And then the Expedition. I know, and they've made a few long body four-door of those Broncos, but then the Expedition took over from it, which led to the Navigator. Which I don't know what came first, the Navigator or the Escalade. What came first? Let's see. So the Navigator came out in 1998, and the Escalade was the response. Sean goes, the Ford Excursion with the 7.3 liter turbo diesel was a damn unit. SUV that weighed 9,700 pounds. Yeah, I remember seeing those and wondering why. Like, I know they were like a tow rig, but the only people I ever knew... Well, I guess it kind of makes sense. The only people I ever knew who... excuse me. The only people who I ever knew who ever had those were like horse people. Which I know some of you guys, when we did the cruise, didn't get a chance to experience that side of... That's basically on the opposite side of the town I grew up in, from where we did the cruise. But that area is all equestrian stuff. Well, not all of it, but like a lot of it is equestrian, horse barns, fields. Well, we did drive by Centenary, which is one of the best equestrian colleges in the country, or at least the Northeast. But yeah, these horse people and their money, man. But and the United States Equestrian Center is like 45 minutes from my house, if that. But yeah, the only time I remember was seeing those things tow horse trailers. And even then, a lot of the people were just driving the spec'd up insert truck brand loyalty here. And then Sean goes, yeah, to be fair, the Excursion with the 7.3 was based off an F-350. I mean, yeah, it had to be. Is this leading to a horsepower story? Trying to think, do I have any? Not really many interesting crossover between the horse. One of Greg and I's friends married a top level equestrian, like almost qualifying for the Olympics level equestrian. I'm just trying to think if there's any car crossover. I mean, I guess walking into a garage and seeing like a 73 Corvette and I want to say 70 Chevelle with the big block. Forget which. I guess that would be the 427 Big Block Chevelle SS package, all that sort of fun stuff. But yeah, no. There was one thing I wanted. Shoot, I had something and I completely forgot it. Let's see if I saved it, like a good content creator should. Let's just no. Oh, there we go. Oh God, I think you could share a link to that, Sean. The Centurion. That thing hurts my eyes every single time I look at it. Oh, that's
Sorry about that.
What's it?
Family duties.
Hey, it happens, man. You knew the risks. Family duty as he comes back chewing on something that I'm assuming was tasty.
Yes, well, since I barely got any dinner since my kids ate the rest of the food, I had to get a little. Literally had 3 Pringles just now on the way back in.
I'm actually shocked your house has Pringles in it.
No, it's not. It is not actual. Actually, well, that's not true. We do have Pringles snack packs in the basement for the kids. The big tubes that Pringles usually come in.
I meant Pringles in any guise.
Oh yeah, we do. We have the. It's the Whole Foods version. It's like the good crisp. Honestly, they're way better than Pringles. Like actually better, not in like a health food kind of way. They're just like, oh, Pringles are good, and then you have one of these, you're like, oh shit, these are way better.
I've had Pringles like relatively recently. It's not something. I was like,
yeah, they're fine.
Man, I do not remember these things being this salty.
Yeah, they're really salty. These ones, however, you get at Whole Foods, they're definitely more expensive because you get them at Whole Foods, but they are fantastically better. And you're like, oh, this is a good chip. And then you have it, you're like, oh shit, these are amazing. I could eat like 8 tubes of these things.
Well, I was just saying, in the home of a triathlete, you wouldn't expect to see.
Yeah.
For the record, Greg is not the triathlete in question, in case anyone needed clarification.
No. Have run a marathon, but didn't run the whole thing. So
good. Anybody who runs a marathon, let alone super, mega, ultra, whatever the fuck, like the people run, like, why is a marathon 26.2 miles?
I don't know.
You know the answer to this. Come on. Greek history. Nike. Oh, for Christ's sake. Short version of the story.
Probably knew it, and it has since escaped my brain.
Short version of the story is the reason a marathon is 26.2 miles is that is the distance ran by a messenger, because back in Roman times, I don't know if you know this, they didn't exactly have Wi-Fi. So, advanced civilization, my ass. So a messenger, I think it was they had won I don't know if they had won the Battle of Marathon or they were running to the city of Marathon. I forget the exact specifics. But at any rate, this guy ran 26.2 miles, got to his destination to alert the people of the victory. He shouted Nike, which is Latin for victory.
Victory.
And then dropped dead.
Oh my God.
Which is why anyone who runs marathons, I don't trust.
Noted. Chad does not trust me.
I mean, when have I? I
was gonna say that happened way before my marathon.
And like, okay, so like 26, like, I still think I have to find it. And if I ever had a car that I'd be willing to put like bumper stickers and stuff on, and that's a big if, because I don't know if I'd ever want to do that. Like, you know, the people who drive around and have the 26.2 thing on the back of their cars. You've seen those, right?
Oh yeah, Kate has it tattooed on her body.
Oh my God, I got a great follow-up tattoo. This is what we're gonna bet, and this is the tattoo you're gonna get. But I saw one the other day. One of these sites that sell like novelty and joke like stickers and stuff, and it's literally the exact same cutout, that exact same oval, that exact same everything, and it just has a 0 on it, and underneath it says, "I don't run."
That's absolutely the one I would get. My first ever tattoo. No, that's good. I love that.
Let's see here. Sean goes, I'll roll up whatever I'm competing with in the Zuzu box truck and pitch a tent on top of... What?
Pitch a tent.
Right. Yeah, there's context. I'm reading... Again, I'm not reading from the actual Facebook feed, which I probably should, which apparently I've left here for a second. Oh, I can hear myself. That's no good. And then Lisa has an interesting question that I'm not 100% sure of the answer. Although I'm guessing it has something to do with blocks, like actual like housing blocks. Like, hey, go 3 blocks down, it's on the left or whatever, right?
Right.
Being a quarter mile, but like Lisa asks, here's a question I'd love to answer. I'd love the answer to. Why do we drag race over a quarter mile? I'm guessing it was, you had light to light stuff, which is obviously where drag racing sort of came from. As someone famously said, when was the first motor race? The second car was built.
Pretty much.
And everything. But my guessing is it's like one of those things. It's like, why is a football field 100 yards? Why are the end zones 10 yards? Unless you're in Canada, where they use funky different measurements because reasons. Although I still think Canadian football, the Rouge, is the perfect way to get, is like one of the best, like, where you can literally kick the ball out the back of the end zone and get a point. So I remember watching a CFL game, and the game was tied, and the kicker's going up for this. I don't know how long the kick was, and he just hooked the hell out of it. And in American football, i.e. correct football, I swear I'm not dirty American, but I do like to troll. He hooked it way left, but since he kicked it beyond their 20-yard trapezoidal frickin' end zone, he got a point and they won the game.
That's crazy.
But like how all these other sports sort of landed on their dimensions and things like that over time is, I'm guessing, is as it became more and more popular and there became literal specialized places to do this type of activity or motorsport or whatever, they found that, okay, a half mile is great, but where are we going to get the space? Also, doing a half mile in some of the older cars has got to be one of the more terrifying experiences in life. So they landed on a quarter mile. I mean, not for nothing, but 8th mile racing is becoming more and more popular. And Top Fuel and funny cars don't even go to the full quarter anymore. They don't even do the full 1320. They only go to 1,000 foot. And they're
I was going to say it's 1,000.
Still hitting 340 miles an hour.
Which is insane. That was going to be my answer, is like someone decided it at some point because they were like, okay, well, half mile is too unsafe. Quarter mile is safe enough to reach a fun speed without going completely insane. And 1 mile is just way too long. The space constraints. You can put a quarter mile strip almost anywhere. Like that was probably my guess. It's like the same thing with like, it's like that Robin Williams skit back in his old stand up in the early 2000s, like how golf was made. Just like, what was it like? Oh, we're gonna hit this tiny ball in this little hole really far away. We're gonna do this once. No, 18 fucking times. Like,
well, did you know originally golf was played over was supposed to be 20 holes, but
No.
because as they were building these golf courses in Scotland, some were like, we don't have space for that.
So they just locked 2 of them off.
So like some courses would be 20, others would be 14. Still others would be still others are like there was no standardization to it.
Right.
So like that's why I'm trying to think of it. That's why like the original old course, I'm trying to remember. Like the original old course, the Jubilee course and the new course have elements of the original golf course at St. Andrews.
Right.
And that's where we got outward 9 and inward 9. Because at St. Andrews, the first 9 holes, or roughly their 9 holes, go away from the clubhouse, and the last ones come back towards it. The more you know. 15 years in the golf industry. Back to cars.
Yes. Brief golf detour.
So, yeah. So according to Sean, we do a quarter mile because it's based off of a furlong, which, if you know anything, has something to do with horse racing. So, yeah, there's our full circle back to horses, back making it pertinent to the automotive discussion, or as we were originally tagged, automotive chatter.
That's right. News, reviews, and automotive chatter.
1 furlong is 1/8 of a mile, so 2 is a quarter mile. Math. And this goes, as teenagers, we'd mark out a road with no houses around to race on. Sean goes, it dates back to the 17th century. God bless Sean. Yeah, we didn't actually do any sort of, I mean, the closest we ever got to like motorsport shenanigery when we were in like high school and college age, like was Greg terrorizing young women in the a parking lot of a bank. Though she was easily startled, almost like a cat.
What was that?
When you were in, oh God, now we're just going to sit here and be like, hey, Greg, you remember when? And everybody's like, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. That's what we're doing.
Do you remember back when you had the Taurus?
What, the crash I got in? That I like.
And like you had the like most mild of fender benders with this girl in I forget what. When we were
Chrysler
LeBaron. Which we were either coming back from or going to Flanders Bagel.
We were coming back from Flanders Bagels, and I went to the one intersection, and she cut across me. I didn't see her, and I hit her back left quarter panel.
But it was a nothing burger of an accident, and she was like,
oh yeah, she was like apoplectic. She was like crying, like, oh my God. I was like, meanwhile, there's just like a scuff on my bumper that's this big. I'm just like, okay.
And there was one other person in the car. It might have been like Eric or somebody.
It was you, me, Eric, and Alicia.
And like the three of us are like watching this whole situation, just chowing down on our Howard Sterns. Like,
yes.
While you're having to go through it, we're all just like, this is great. You should have this, Greg.
You guys were fine. And I'm just like, meanwhile, the whole time I'm talking to this poor girl, I'm just like, my bagel sandwich is getting cold.
But like, as far as like motoring shenanigans, I guess the closest we ever got, me and you together, was when I first got my Focus and did a ridiculously big burnout, considering all 140 horsepower that thing had.
Yes.
And I've told this story. It's like, so as a lot of you know, I played college baseball, and our baseball field was like, I don't know, probably like a half mile from any of the locker rooms, anything. So we had to walk to the baseball field. Well, next to the baseball field was a parking lot, a pretty long parking lot. I would say overall at least a quarter mile long, if not 3/8 of a mile long, the parking lot. So in the interest of being done with practice or a game or whatever, we'd all park our cars there, go into the locker room, get changed, do everything. And after, say, practice, we'd have a short walk across the street to get to our cars. That eventually devolved into, because this was in 01. No. This was in like 02, 03. A little bit of 04. Right around the heyday for Fast and Furious. So we all had our sport compacts. I had my Focus that I wanted to mod, but like whatever. And I remember we would race, like one of our like pretty good pitchers had a GSR Integra. We would do that. My one buddy had a WS6 Trans Am, and we just do, I think it had to be like maybe an 1/8 mile, if that. And I remember beating one guy in a car. He should have absolutely beat me in. I was like, I don't know what was going on. I was double clutching. This guy's granny shifting, and I just remember looking at him like, you need to look into what synchros are. And this was like, go to the library, get on a computer, and use Yahoo. That time frame. It wasn't like pull out your phone and Google it. Sean, let's see here. Sean goes, I'm blessed by not having cops around me. You're blessed by not having almost anything around you, which is awesome. And his local roads are are my race course. I have a great spot for hill climb runs, another spot for 8th mile drags, and a 4.3 mile road course. You would know the exact mileage too, Sean. That's epic. Andrew goes for the why we race a quarter mile. ChatGPT answer using the robots. I'll remember that when Skynet takes over, Andrew. Theorizes that early drag strips were built on old World War II runways, where the quarter mile was the practical distance allowed for the safe stopping area. That is a great point. Damn you, machines. Let's see here. Andrew goes mobbing Camp Washington Road. That's a deep cut for me, Greg, and Andrew. None of you are going to know what that means.
Nope.
But I don't remember that. Please do explain more if you're still here. Sean goes, my local gas station has 93 ethanol free and 110 stashed behind the kerosene tank. I have not yet asked why they have 110 on hand. I've never seen someone get it.
All the more reason why you need to get it.
There's no reason for him to get it. He's going to burn his valves. He's nowhere near enough cylinder head pressure in anything he owns.
It's fine. Throw it in there.
Sean's going to have
It'll be great.
With that, you could probably run telepathic ignition timing.
Yeah. It'll clean the engine out. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Toss it in.
I can't believe I never realized that. But and then there was a long period where I liked cars, I wanted cars. Like that's right a few years later is when I got the IS300 and immediately modified it.
Immediately,
dude, it was a Lexus, and it was a sports sedan where it's like, what should we do for exhaust noise?
Fart can.
Nothing. It's going to be quiet.
Pretty much, yeah.
The LS with 8,500 RPM might like it. Yes, and absolutely, because I'm guessing at that RPM with that engine, with the ignition timing you're going to have to run, more than likely going to need a spicy former dinosaur. Because that's the limiting. That is now, we are back to a fuel limiting situation. So as you know, with my silver Mustang, we were fuel limited to 705 horsepower at the wheels. If we went to E85 or 110 or what have you, we could have pushed more boost, more timing, etc., and probably made close to 800 wheel, which is the limit of a Gen 2 Coyote. Very much the limit, by the way. With the new build, were RPM-wise, where you need to be pretty aggressive with ignition timing once you hit a certain RPM threshold, you then need to use a fuel that's less prone to knock, i.e. ethanol and 110, even though they achieve it in different ways, as we've talked about ad nauseum here. The curvy road that goes between School's Mountain Road and the county park goes right past the lake. Now, I know the road. Yeah. I was just trying... Oh, you meant mobbing as in, like, having fun on that road. God, you're speaking New England.
Mobbing.
Sean goes, I don't get it. We used to make 1,000 horsepowers on pump gas. Name one. Like, one. I mean, pretty much every 1,000 horse. Now, you do have some stuff where you have, like, just biblically enormous engines because cubic capacity can do that without overly compressing the fuel and things of that nature. But up until, like, the Veyron, I can't think of 1,000 horsepower like streetcar.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
I thought so. Andrew goes to further geographically challenge Lisa on this one. I always thought they should do a hill climb event on the valley side of School's Mountain Road. And I have always thought, yes, they should have, especially since they're recently repaving it, and it has become a biblical pain in my fucking ass right now. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Not to get on my soapbox and talk about something that literally affects me and only me, but in my local town where I live, basically we have two roads to go, quote unquote, up the mountain. We have School's Mountain Road and Not Right. Not that the names matter, but it's going to make differentiating between the two. And then there's a way you can kind of circle around that and go up some like Kings Highway. That's another great road, but it's a little too developed to have any sort of fun on responsibly anymore. But in the last like 3 or 4 weeks, they've the gas company is laying gas line, running them all the way up the mountain, running it across into the next town, all the way up to developments that are over there. So the road has been one lane or shut down for that. And then right behind these jackholes is the paving crew. And they've been paving, to give context, I don't know the exact mileage, but it's literally from the bottom of the mountain by where like the brew pub and stuff are, all the way up. Which, yay, great. They've paved it. It's been in desperate need of it. This is great. This would be fun. But then they went and grooved some of the more fun corners because they're the way they're graded, the steepness of them, it makes sense. Otherwise, those would be very slick and lead to a lot more accidents than already happen on some of these. I think that's a Long Valley rite of passage, is getting pulled over near Penwell. All of us have done it.
Pretty much, yeah.
But at any rate, let's see what else we... conjoined Eleanor's maybe 1,000 horsepower.
Conjoined Eleanor's.
I like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I just can't like to make 1,000. That's what makes like the Corvette ZR1 so damn impressive. That's what makes things like the Lingenfelter 427 LT2 so damn impressive, because they can make the horsepower that they're claiming on 91, not even 93.
Yeah,
because
91's impressive.
Where we live, 93 is plentiful. It is phenomenal. Everywhere else, it's 91. The fact that they're able to make that kind of power on that type of fuel is insane.
Yeah.
And like that Corvette engine is not hold on one second. And like the Corvette engine is only just under 350 cubic inches. Whew, almost used liters there for a second. Yeah, but the Venom GT is after the Veyron. I mean, pretty much everything the Veyron set forth unto the world where 1,000 horsepower is commonplace. Like that. Pick a Koenigsegg.
Right.
And the list goes on and on and on. But the Venom also does it with... It's very loosely based on an LS7. They did a lot of work to that. And I'm almost positive they did a dual overhead cam at some point. But I'm not 100%. I could be merging realities at this point.
Maybe.
But you also have to keep in mind, that has cubic capacity. 427 cubic inches. So you don't need to run a redonkulous amount of boost. You still need to run a lot of boost, but it's not like getting a K series up to 1,000 horsepower and pushing 50 pounds. Like you understand? So yeah. Greg, what is your favorite 1,000 horsepower car? No.
My favorite 1,000 horsepower car?
Yes.
Ooh. That's a great question, actually. Because they're asking this question like 10 years ago. It's like, there's only like 2 of them. Now there's like 75 of them. Man, favorite 1,000 horsepower car?
I don't know if I have one.
Yeah, I'm not sure, actually.
Like, don't get me wrong, 1,000 horsepower is like, yay. But like,
yeah, right.
But like, I'm just trying to think of it. Like, I love obviously the Koenigsegg's. Like, those are pretty badass.
Yeah.
The Venom or the Venom F5 I love because, you know, American muscle plus boost plus suck it is pretty cool. But like, nothing it's weird. I look at like, there are more 200 horsepower cars from factory that I look at and like, I want one of those, than I do and look at 1,000 horsepower hypercars.
That's true. Man. I don't know. I'd probably have to say, just off the top of my head, I'd probably have to say the Bugatti Chiron, just because it's very beautiful. I like it, and
You would go French.
stupid powerful. I mean, it's the only thing I can think of at this point that I'm just like, yeah, I would probably drive that a lot. I mean, that's up there. I mean, are we gonna split hairs and say it has to be over 1,000? Because the McLaren P1 is 989.
It's close enough.
Probably that.
But I mean, that's hybrid assisted to 1,000, so no, it doesn't.
Right. So,
pick again.
So yeah, I mean, I'd probably have to go Chiron. Just again, off the top of my head, it's exclusive. It's rare. It's cool. It's beautiful. It's one of those things where you're just like, yeah, I want that. And that's one of those things where I'm just like, I would want that, not necessarily for the exclusivity and the luxury of it, but I would want it to be like, yes, I have a 1,500 horsepower French car, and then people would be like, what? What the hell is that? It's like, oh yes, it's a Bugatti, just so you know. Like it's just cool to say.
All right, man. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's something about Bugatti. It's like, ooh, that is interesting. That is cool. I love their new 16-cylinder V16 cylinder engine, which I think is absolutely epic. I don't know. There's just something about Bugatti where it's like, I respect the hell out of what they did, but I've never looked at one and been like, I need that, or
yeah,
I want that.
Yeah, I've never done that with like 1,000 horsepower cars. Maybe with like 1,000 horsepower builds, but like there's a lot of them for now. But like from factory, I don't think there's a lot of 1,000 horsepower cars where I've just been like, I need that. Like 1,000 horsepower Supra, yeah, I want that badly. But like 1,000 horsepower Bugatti Veyron, I nothing it. Like it's cool. It'd be amazing to own, but like it's not something I need to own or have experienced in my life, honestly.
Yeah. But on that note, the clock has struck 11.
The clock has struck.
It is 11 p.m. Do you know where your kids are?
Yes, literally sleeping there in that room over there through that wall.
But at any rate,
yes.
All joking aside, that's going to do it for tonight's show, guys and gal. Not used to having to say that.
Yes. Potential more gal next week.
Gal squared, if you will.
Gal squared.
Yeah, so that's going to wrap this show, guys. Definitely tune in next week. The Australian invasion is coming. I'm really excited for that. Really should be an epic show. So definitely come on in. But for this one, that's going to be a wrap. And as always, we're going to send you out. And if he's not prepared this time, he might get slapped at some point between now and next week.
I'm prepared this time.
It only took you a month and a half of doing this gig.
I know, right?
Bit. But we're going to send you out with the resident Shifting Lanes Garage Dad Gregson's dad advice of the week.
Yes. So you've always heard the phrase, do what you love. But doing what you love is very different than learning. So my advice to you is to learn what you love. Because when you learn what you love, you actually will put it into practice. And it will actually change your life in a way where if you learn it, it's something that you actually want to do, especially when you're older. Because learning when you're in high school and middle school and whatever, it's kind of forced, right? But if you're older and you learn what you love and you do those things that you learn and put those into practice, you will always have something to do. You will always be happy about it, and you will always never be bored.
Always be learning, kids, and
always be learning.
I will dovetail. That makes absolutely no sense.
Build on.
I will build upon and thus improve.
I will Lego brick this idea.
As someone who has successfully not had any children, and yes, successfully, I'm using that.
He was like, successfully not had any children.
A few scares, but I will put that. Do not be afraid to ask questions, to learn. If there's something in your life, your kid's life, whoever's life, that they are passionate about, do not be afraid to ask questions for the fear of sounding quote unquote dumb or ignorant. Ask questions. That's how we learn. That's how we foster conversation.
Yes.
That sort of stuff. So if you are passionate about something, ask people in the know. And like Greg said, continue to learn. You're never too old to learn. I had a recent thought the other day that I want to go back and get a degree in history. Mostly so I could sit in there and just be like, actually, you're wrong. You're wrong.
Yes. There are no dumb questions. Ask away.
There are no dumb questions. There's just dumb people at takeovers. At any rate, that's going to conclude tonight's show. Thank you for watching. We will catch you again. Very special episode next week.
Yes.
But for then,